Hello, everybody, and I would like to thank my wonderful subscribers. Hello, everybody, and welcome to part 2 of 3 disturbing true scary stories. Last time, we had the one where, it was a lot of tiny incidents all put together, and then in the second one, it was, hiking, and, there was a creepo, following him. This third one is by AI done Aiden Perry. And let's see what he had to deal with right now. What do you have to deal with, Perry?
This happened close to 20 years ago, back when I was 15.
Wow.
My parents were in the midst of a really ugly divorce at the time.
Ooh.
My mom thought it would be a good idea for me to spend a few weeks with my great aunt Lucy in upstate Vermont while they sorted out the legal stuff.
Damn. Imagine being at your grandma's house, going day by day, wondering how your parents are gonna deal with each other. What are they gonna decide? And you have to be in a whole different location just waiting for what they say. That would be awful.
I wasn't thrilled about being shipped off to some relative I barely knew, but I didn't have much choice.
You don't even know them?
Aunt Lucy lived in this massive Victorian house that had been converted into apartments sometime in the 60s.
How did that work? She owned the whole
building and rented out the top 2 floors to tenants, while she lived...
Okay, well then it must be a lot bigger than this house. This house only looks like it's 3 stories. I don't know how big something has to be an apartment building, but I think it has to be a little bigger than just 3 floors.
She owned the whole building and rented out the top 2 floors to tenants.
Top 2? There are only 3 floors in this picture. So what, she owns this area? Wow. That's a lot. That's a majority of the floors.
While she lived alone in the sprawling first floor unit.
Oh, okay.
The place was beautiful in a very specific old-fashioned way. High ceilings, original hardwood floors, intricate moldings around every door frame. Movie-type stuff like that. What struck me as odd right away was that Aunt Lucy seemed to avoid certain parts of her own apartment.
Really?
She had this huge master bedroom with tall windows and beautiful antique furniture. But she slept in a small den off the living room instead.
That
was actually one of the things I asked her about, to which she just replied that the main bedroom got too much morning light. I then stupidly asked if I could sleep in there then, to which she just glared at me disapprovingly.
Okay.
You gotta remember that things were a little different back then.
How?
Respecting your elders was practically law.
Oh, okay.
So after that interaction,
I
held my tongue, not wanting to upset her further.
She shouldn't be mad at you for that,
I kept hearing what sounded...
She obviously has an ulterior motive then. Because, even if you don't like all the morning light, how do you know I can't handle it? Let me at least try to live there.
Wanting to upset her further. The first few nights I was there, I kept hearing what sounded like someone walking around in the apartment above us. I figured it was just one of the tenants.
Yeah.
Maybe someone who worked late shifts. But the weird thing was how methodical the walking sounded. Back and forth,
in the same
like someone pacing the length of the apartment. After about a week of this, I couldn't keep things to myself and mentioned it to Aunt Lucy over breakfast. She again gave me this strange expression and said the second floor had been vacant for over a month.
Oh no.
I insisted that I'd been hearing someone walking around up there every night, but she just shook her head and told me I was just hearing the building settling.
Oh no, that's not how that works.
Makes sense. But I wasn't about to argue.
Good. It doesn't make sense.
The next morning, I told Aunt Lucy I wanted to see the vacant apartment.
Yeah.
She seemed reluctant, but I kept pressing.
Do it. It's your house.
She agreed. Just like she said, the second floor was completely empty.
Okay.
But as we walked through the rooms together, I saw something that immediately validated what I'd been hearing.
What? Shoes?
There were fresh scuff marks on the hardwood floors, like someone had been walking the same path over and over. The marks formed a clear pattern from the front of the apartment to the back, exactly matching the route the footsteps seemed to make each night. I pointed this out. Aunt Lucy said the marks were probably from the previous tenants.
Oh my god.
But they looked too recent for that.
How do you know?
I told her this, but she just dismissed me like I was some babbling child. That evening, she
Hate it
suggested
when
we
they
watch
do
a
that.
movie together, which we'd never done before.
Aw.
As it got later, the footsteps from upstairs started up again. I looked at Aunt Lucy, expecting her to finally acknowledge what we were hearing, but instead, she just turned the volume up and pretended like nothing was happening.
Yeah, she actually turned the volume up when she heard them? That's proof that she could hear them. I would take the remote, I would turn down the volume, and I don't know, it really depends on how your aunt is. Like, I don't know, maybe I would be like, maybe I would confront her directly. Maybe I would pretend to be afraid so she would listen to me. I don't know, but I would do something.
I was stunned. My first thought was Aunt Lucy knew exactly what was going on.
Yeah.
Just didn't want to tell me. The next day, I called my mom and mentioned the situation.
Yeah?
And you know what's crazy?
What?
Even my mom seemed to know what was going on.
What?
She told me not to bring up the footsteps with Aunt Lucy anymore.
I don't
and that it was,
know.
Quote, a sensitive topic.
I live there.
One night near the end of my visit, I woke up around 2 a.m. needing to use the bathroom. As I was walking back to my room, I glanced toward the staircase that led up to the second floor. The door at the bottom was slightly ajar.
Shit.
And I could have sworn I saw a faint light moving around up there, like someone was walking with a flashlight. I immediately went to bed and didn't mention it to Aunt Lucy. I just wanted to get the hell out of there.
Yeah.
If it hadn't been for that night the two of us watched a movie, I would have assumed Aunt Lucy was causing the footsteps, but that was impossible.
Nope.
My mom refused to explain things to me when I got back home.
Did she ever?
It caused quite the rift between the two of us.
Aww.
Years later, I found out through a cousin that Aunt Lucy had sold the building and moved to Florida.
Okay.
According to my cousin, there had been some kind of incident in the apartment back in the 90s.
90s?
Someone had died there under unclear circumstances, and the family had tried to keep it quiet.
Really?
That was also around the time Aunt Lucy had inherited the building. I've never believed in ghosts.
Yeah.
I don't say that to sound dismissive or close-minded.
Yeah.
I just genuinely don't.
You can't.
That's a pretty dumb way to interpret things you don't understand, to be frank. So when I think back on what I experienced in that house...
I mean, it could just be like a homeless person. Like, a homeless person finds a good-looking, large building near the woods and decides, oh hey, nobody lives here. It's raining, I don't want to be outside, I'll stay here for a bit. Or maybe they were on drugs, and they decided, oh, I have to get all this energy out, I have way too much energy, and they just kept pacing back and forth and forth and back.
I always find myself searching for some other explanation.
You should.
Maybe Aunt Lucy was sheltering someone up there.
Maybe.
A relative in trouble, or someone who needed to stay hidden. Or maybe she was being blackmailed, forced to let someone live in her building without anyone knowing.
Who would it be,
Maybe
though?
The incident my cousin mentioned wasn't as closed as the family wanted to believe, and whoever was responsible still had some kind of hold over her. Or maybe the entire thing was completely made up, and my cousin was needlessly gossiping. I really don't know. What I do know is that my mom knows something, and I'll never forgive her for withholding that information from me.
Come on. Come on, are you really just gonna let your child wander away from you just because of one little secret? And how bad could it be? Especially since your kid lives there. I think if your kid lived in that house, I think they have a right to know what freaked them out for the last couple months of their lives, okay? But yeah, no, I don't believe in ghosts. But yeah, no, maybe it isn't a homeless person. Maybe, if it was a homeless person, why would your auntie not do anything about it? Well, there are two possibilities. One, she doesn't want to think about it. You never really told me much about your aunt. Maybe she's the kind of person who, really wouldn't do anything about it. Not because she doesn't care, but because she's a wimp. A total pacifist wimp. Well, actually, no, that sounds very rude to pacifists. But, somebody who, doesn't want to get in any sort of confrontation. But, yeah, no, the more likely answer is that she knew who it was, and like, she didn't want to show you. But like, so it had to be something where the auntie knows, the mom knows, but you can't know. So what would it be? I think it had to be something dangerous. Because why else would they not let you get involved? If it was a friend or a relative, I bet they would have told you by now. I bet. But yeah, no. I think the message of this video is never let your secrets ruin your relationships. That's what I'm taking away from this video. Also, yeah, no, the narrator is right. Ghosts aren't real. I know that in today's current social landscape, it's kind of rude to say something is impossible or that you shouldn't believe in something. But there are some things you just don't believe in, okay? And I don't mean like opinions, I mean facts. Because facts do exist no matter how hard you try. And a fact that I believe in is that ghosts aren't real. Because we have doctors who study the brain, they study biology, and none of them believe in like, none of them believe in ghosts really. Because if they do, I don't think they're real doctors. There's no scientific evidence that when somebody dies, a part of them, like, comes out. And, like, scientifically, it doesn't make sense. Humans are really just their brain waves. And as far as we know, brain waves just stop after you die. They don't go anywhere. So, yeah. I don't have much else to say about this one. Pretty good. Nice little unsolved mystery for people to get into. But anyway, I hope to see you guys next time. Bye.